This is the Opposites Attack podcast, where we discuss why men and women go from opposites attract to opposites attack. And I am what most people know me as Doc Reed, Christopher Doc Reed. I'm a relationship and life coach. Been doing that for almost 13 years. This is my beautiful, amazing, wonderful partner in crime, wife of be 28 years next month, girlfriend, all that, dear. So tell them who you are. I just told them who you are to me, but you tell them who you are to the world. All right.
So I am Darlene, but people call me Dar. Why is that? Darlene is my name. Duh. So my whole name is Darlene Angela Reed, but the first three initials of my name is DAR. Many, many years ago, I worked with someone who started calling me Dar, and it just, stuck. So people call me Dar. So yeah, that's what I'm known as, is Dar or Darlene. Some people call me Danielle, whatever.
No, that's not who you're known as, dear. You are known as the fitness guru.
So last time I checked, you asked me to tell who I am. So let me talk. I didn't interrupt you.
See, this is why opposites attack. We can't even get into it for 5 minutes without you saying.
Am I lying, though? Am I lying? You said, tell them who you are. So I'm talking, and then you interrupt me.
Okay.
And that's what he does.
So this is a recipe for how you make it.
So I'm not done.
28 years. You see that look? You see that look she's giving me? Yeah, that's when you know. Yeah, it's about to pop off. I'm sorry.
It really isn't. You'll know when it's going to pop off, and that wasn't it.
All right. Go ahead.
However, like I was saying, initials, name, years ago, worked with someone, they called me Dar, and it stuck. So that's what I've been called, is Dar. I work in the fitness industry. I work at a Y, and I love my job. I'm able to work with people and push them to limits that they don't realize that they can reach, and it's fun for me. I enjoy it quite a bit. I also have the aspect of just not teaching and working with people. I have the whole administrative side, which I absolutely hate, because you have to work with people. And as we all know, people are people, dum-dums. And I tell you what, boy, if I could say and do what I want to do, I wouldn't have a job. So I just don't. I just keep to myself. Most times I've calmed down quite a bit, because typically I would tell somebody exactly how I feel. And in some ways I still do. But yeah, I just went on a little tangent there. But back to me. But I've been talking about me, haven't I?
You have. And we just saw a whole lot right there.
Well, good. I'm
so
glad.
As you can see,
I'm not done yet.
Hold on. This is the dynamic, okay? This is the opposites. And you are not going to find two people who are more opposite than we are. I'm calm, I'm laid back. My wife is the definition of intense. As you saw that, right? And so
I don't know if I would use the word intense.
Dear, you haven't been described as intense?
I have. Intense, aggressive. I mean, I embrace all those words, but I mean, I think I'm normal. Isn't this normal?
No.
It is normal. I need y'all to tell me this is normal.
This is not normal by any stretch of the imagination. You just told everybody, I have a job that I work with people, but I don't like people.
I don't.
That's not normal.
I don't like people. I mean, I like people, but I don't like people.
Okay, all right. So listen, so we're different in almost every way. First of all, let me just say this.
Oh my God.
Let me say cheers.
Salute.
Okay.
Cheers is salute.
Oops. Is it salute? Okay.
Salute.
Yeah. Now,
I keep hitting my mic.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's gonna make a lot of noise.
It's all right.
So what are you sipping on?
I am drinking a mimosa because here where we're at, it is before 12. Now, typically, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. So I would have a glass of wine, but it's just a little too early. So this is mimosa until 12. And then afterwards, then I can have wine because I'm at home now. If it was on vacation, it's all game there. He's drinking.
No, let me say what I'm doing. Okay. So I am, first of all.
He doesn't drink.
Dear.
You interrupted me?
Can I tell what I'm doing?
You did this to me.
I didn't tell him what you was drinking.
I didn't say what you was drinking. I just said you don't drink.
Hey,
First off, that's not how you smell wine.
Smell that. Okay, let me tell you what year this is. First of all, let me take a sip. This is 2023 Kool-Aid.
Sugar-free Kool-Aid, by the way.
It's the Kroger brand.
It is the Kroger brand. It's the best brand. I don't drink it.
Yeah,
he does.
So this is how we're different. I don't drink. I hate alcohol. I think it's nasty.
That's a problem.
So you're gonna see stuff around. Some of our favorite stuff. Wine. My wife, I mean this with all love. She's a wino because
I love wine.
It's her thing.
You want to talk wine? I can talk wine, especially red wine. Very earthy, leathery, oaky, tobacco-y. Makes your mouth want to go.
Yeah,
it's amazing. Love it.
We're gonna get into that, but I'm gonna tell them why we got the stuff up here. This is a few of our favorite things. Some we like together. Some
we don't.
So. Like I said, the wine, that's her. Ohio State, huge Ohio State fans, both of us. Green Bay Packers, that's her team. I don't really care for them.
Love the Packers. Go Pack.
Yeah. And we got some other family stuff. We're all family.
We're all about family.
So let's get into this now.
But let's just. I need to point one thing out though.
Point it out.
I'm gonna point this out, people. Do you see over in the corner this Ohio State umbrella? Now, are we outside? No, people, we are not outside. I bought that for my husband because his office is all Ohio State, so I'll get him Ohio State stuff. I got him that umbrella, and you see where it's at? It's in the corner. We went for a walk a couple weeks ago. We go on these marriage, we every week we go together.
Yeah.
It's our time. I call it our marriage staff meeting, where we get together, we walk our dog. It's another one of my favorite things. He claims it's not one of his, but I tolerate him. He loves Dink, but that's another story. So we take him for a walk. We connect, make sure that we're all on the same page. It was raining, right? So I said, go in, get your umbrella. He goes in and gets this broken, stupid umbrella, and I'm like, go get your Ohio State one. He doesn't want to use it. He wants, how he wants to use it? Sitting in the corner right there.
That umbrella is not for rain.
It's an umbrella.
That umbrella
is for rain. It was a $50 umbrella.
It's a keepsake, dear. Because the moment rain hits my Ohio State umbrella, it's ruined.
It's an umbrella, people.
No, it's supposed
to.
So
when he used to drive to work, which he does not anymore, I got that for him so he can have an umbrella that he can take out and, have his nice little umbrella. He's never used it.
First of all, you got that after.
No, I didn't.
That. Yes, you did.
Mm-hmm. Okay, whatever. Regardless, people, we were outside. It was raining. He didn't use his umbrella. It's sitting in here on the inside. Anyway.
It helps to complete our...
No, it doesn't.
Our love shack.
Anyway, go ahead, dear. Finish whatever you were saying.
All right.
Oh, my God.
So we thought that we would take you... Okay, how does this start? I mean, how do two people like y'all come together? How do y'all meet? What is it? So we're going to take you back to the beginning, which I think the opposite attack thing, I think it was happening right out the gate.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Because the way you was on me, the way she
I'm going to let him finish for a hot second.
Me was next level.
Lies.
You feel what I'm saying?
Everybody move out the way because lightning's about to strike.
And so we're meeting, and it's just like boom, boom, boom. Okay, and no, I'm gonna give you the real.
No, he's not. So
no, I am.
No, you're not.
You wasn't even attracted to me.
I wasn't. I was attracted.
Let me tell you this.
I was attracted to his friend.
So let me tell you about this.
Woo woo.
Disrespect.
However, let me tell you, looking back, thank God that didn't happen.
No, I'm gonna tell you. So tell
And
them.
I love them because we here.
Yeah. Tell them why. I have a car.
Oh,
and
so
at that time, so we were in college.
Okay, so yes, we were in college. I was with my sorority sisters, and we was at some I don't know what we were at.
Black Cultural Festival.
It was a festival, yes. And so him and his friend come walking up, and I'm like, I am going to get with that, not him, his friend. Like, I want that right now. However, as we started talking, his friend, it just wasn't even, I wasn't even on that at all. And I could hear him talking, and he just talked like he was just better than everybody else. He thought he was just God's gift to the world. And I'm looking at him like, does he really think he is all that? Because he's not. He is not. None of that. So for some reason, we end up going back to our sorority house, and I told my sorority sister, I said, Lily, I love you, Lily. I said, listen, I'm mentioning names. Well, I'll just put it out there. If he doesn't have a car, I'm not talking to him, because my ex-boyfriend that I dated for several years, he didn't have a car. I did. He used my car, whatever. I just wasn't going through that again. So we get back to the sorority house. We're sitting at the table, and everything we talked about, it was like I would say something, and then I'm not used to saying this, Chris would say something different. And it was like, why are you hating all the time? So I happened to ask about a car, and yeah, I don't have a car at the moment. I looked over at my sorority sister. I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm not going to talk to him, because that was just a hard no. So for some reason, he and I were not necessarily talking. We were bickering, I guess you could say. I would say blue, he would say black. I would say oranges, he'd say apples. And I'm like, he just think. And then I have a foul mouth. I really had a foul mouth back then. And I didn't care. And everything I said, he'd be like, because he doesn't cuss and he didn't drink. And I'm like, oh, you're just so goody two shoes. You just think you are just all of that. So then he started talking about something called a kitchen. I'm sorry, I'm half Filipino. I don't know what kitchens are, right? So he was like, it's the back of, what is it, the back neck?
Yeah, right here.
The neck of hair, like being nappy. I don't know, something. So he touched the back of my head, and I was like, oh.
And her eyes rolled back.
And I was like, okay, that was different. And from that point on, nothing. We talked, okay? And we talked like all night. And it was just really, like legit all night. And that's what he does. He's a backdoor type of dude. I
think you need to clear that up.
What I mean by that, the guys that, they're like, well, tell me about your problems. That type of guy.
Oh, okay. That
type of guy.
Because, I don't want to have to
whatever.
Yeah.
So anywho, we talked, and it was good. And legit, it was all night. And then we go to depart and go home, and, he kissed me. It was fine. And then he asked me for my number, and I was like, how about I take yours? Or how about I give you mine? Because I wasn't calling him. If he wanted to call me, he could call me. So I gave him my number. He called me, and I was like, look, dude, I'm busy. I'm watching 90210. That was back, that just kind of ages us a little bit, back in those days. And
been married almost 28 years, absolutely.
Yeah, right, okay. So anywho, we finally ended up going out, and yeah, from then on, it was us, and it was just.
Can I tell my story now?
It was quite interesting.
Can I tell my version?
Is it R-rated or is it PG?
No, come on, dear. Seriously? You think I'm R-rated?
I don't know. You were saying, this is unabridged.
You won't let me cuss.
Oh, no cussing goes on here. And I know all my friends out there, they know that I have a foul mouth, but I do not cuss around my husband. That is a no.
So here's the deal.
He says pissed, and I get upset because I don't like that word coming out of his mouth. I know, right?
Okay, so here's the deal.
I'm going to shut up.
All right. So let me explain, because I know some of you just felt probably bad, like, oh my God, she just said that he was none of that, and she wasn't really
Don't
that
feel bad.
attracted to him. And
Oh my God, stop
what
it.
you got? So you got to understand my mindset coming into this thing, right? Now, just a little background. I was always a relationship guy, meaning I always wanted to be in a relationship. But what happened was, got into a situation that it didn't go too well. So there was about a year there where I was doing my thing. I was not committed. I was upfront about it. But anyway, so meaning I wasn't leading anybody on. So I meet her, and now I am feeling myself. Like I'm at my zenith. You can't tell me nothing. And so when I noticed that she had this real attitude, like she was like everything.
I was.
And so
My thing is, you have to toot your own horn.
so anyway, I knew that she felt like she was like all that in a bag of chips. And so I'm not going to like make her feel like I'm less than. So yeah, I intentionally, whatever she said, I was going to say the opposite, because you was not going to win this one, this back and forth.
Hey, let me just tell you, when we were like dating, we weren't like boyfriend, girlfriend, but we were dating. You know what he said to me? He's like, "What's wrong with your face? What's all that stuff on your face?" That's what, like, right? He would just point stuff out.
Dear, let's be fair. At that time,
He had gazelles, y'all, that had tape around the
arm,
and he's talking to me, "What's on my face?"
but you didn't go nowhere.
I didn't. I didn't. But that's a whole nother story, y'all.
So anyway, let's keep it clean.
Keeping it real.
So yeah, so the chemistry, I think if I would have come and been like, "Hey, how are you? You know, my name is so and so," never would have worked. Never would have worked. You know, I liked the challenge. I enjoyed the challenge of her stank attitude at the time. No, your attitude was stank, dear.
It wasn't stank. I was just
serious?
confident.
Okay, confident, stank, whatever. So
It's not the same
somehow through all of this, opposites. Now we're telling you opposites attract. I can't give anybody this as a recipe of how to get together, because we couldn't put it together ourselves. However, this is how we ended up getting together. So anyway, because if, like I said, if I hadn't done that, you would have, I can run all over this cat, blah, 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 blah. So later on that night, like she said, you know, I'm a talker and I'm a listener. That's what I do. And I knew if I get you talking, we gonna navigate into some areas where, you know, plant the flag, right? And so it is true. I asked her for her number. She played me. Yeah, she played me for a TV show. I'm like, are you serious? Like, I can't.
So serious.
90210. So,
Come on,
hey,
y'all.
I'm persistent. It's cool. It's whatever.
90210 is
And
the
then
jam.
we'll just say this. After our first date, then we just kept going and going and going and going. And so
What did we do on our first date?
we talked.
Yes, we did.
We went to Caroline Park.
Yeah.
Dear, this is a family show.
I hear you. But if you want to know who he is,
Dear, it's a family show. So here's the deal. I was in college. You know. Our kids are gonna see this.
they know. I told them.
So, all right, now I want to go back. Okay, and what do I mean? I want to go back.
I don't know, honey.
So I know I was not prepared to date. No, I shouldn't say that. I wasn't prepared for marriage. And what do I mean by that? So, just what I had gone through as a child and what I was exposed to, I really thought I was prepared. Because before we got married, and I know I'm skipping some stuff, but before we got married, you know, we did the counseling. You know, we had a pastor and a priest married. So we had counseling from both, you know.
Because I was raised Catholic, so my mom was adamant that we had a Catholic priest, and I'm like, well, Mom, I don't do that anymore. So we had, to make everybody happy, we had a Catholic and a and a pastor.
Yeah.
Catholic priest and a pastor.
Yeah.
When we got married.
And I will say this, that you had to pass my test.
I had to pass a test.
Yeah, my God test. So I told you,
Okay.
I got to tell this story. So I told you, at some point, no, first of all, I asked you, like, I didn't understand Catholicism and all of that. So I
didn't either.
I asked you some questions about, that's funny. I asked you some questions about Mary versus Jesus, how that all worked. And because I wanted to see, because I told myself, if the next time I was serious about somebody, if they wasn't like, if God wasn't, like, they weren't open to that, I wasn't doing it. So I wanted to feel you out. And you seem to be interested in what I was saying and what I was sharing. So I'm like, bet, okay, cool. She passed that one. And because I made the mistake before where I put that on the back burner, and that's what got me, jacked up, and heart bruised and all of that. So, okay, cool. Now we move forward. We're dating, ask her to be my girlfriend. You gotta ask. Now that's a story worth telling. Because for a while you wanted me to ask you to be my girlfriend.
No, I wanted you to tell me you love me.
That's true. She wanted me to tell her that I loved her. But I was scared. I ain't gonna even front. I was scared because I didn't want to get hurt again. And so to me, and it was not just being scared. When I said it, I wanted to make sure I knew what I was saying. I didn't want to just say casually, I love you, just as a canned response. Like, what does that really mean? So I went into Corinthians, love is patient, love is kind, and all that kind of stuff, because I wanted to know the definition. So when I said it, I wanted to make sure I was prepared.
So let's just pause right there. So we're at a dance. I think my sorority had a dance at, yeah, they had a dance. And we were dancing. And I told you, I love you. Mm. You don't remember that? Mm-hmm. And you know what the response I got? That's the response I got. And I was so embarrassed. I was so hurt. I'm like, oh my God, what just happened? Okay. So I'm like devastated. So I was like, I want to go home. take me home. So he takes me back to my dorm room. And he was like, do you want me to come up? I was like, no, I don't. I'm fine. I'm going to go. And so he comes up anyway. And so when I get upset or, I'm in a space, I clean. So we're up in my room and I'm cleaning, but I'm cleaning angrily. I'm throwing things around and whatnot. He's just sitting on the bed and I'm just going around and, oh my God. And then I think you finally was explaining to me what you were just saying about, the whole I love you. I just don't want to say it. I need to make sure, I have to, how you are. And then I think you finally said it, but wow, that was tough to say the least.
Hey, at least you're going to say, I'm honest.
Yes.
I was genuine. I wasn't going to just say it just to say it. So once I did realize, yeah, okay, I love her and I'm ready. But it wasn't really that. I don't think it was I love you first. I think it was when you asked me, what are we doing? Like school was about to start and whatnot. And, you wasn't just trying to be on the roster, because I had this thing where I would collect photos from girls I was dating, ask her for a photo. She wouldn't give me a photo.
He wanted to put my photo up next to all these other girls. Like we're just this trophy of pictures of girls that he just done hit. And I'm like, no, I am not that girl. Yeah, I'm not going up there. If I'm the girl, you take all them girls down and you put me up.
Yeah.
I don't play that. I don't share.
True story. So she wouldn't give me the picture.
No.
And so here's what I didn't realize though. This was news to me. So when she says, oh, what are we doing? Basically say, I'm not going to just sit around and wait. She didn't say that, but that was the implication. And she had left the room. This is how I remember it. She left the room.
No, I turned over. We were in the bed.
No, we wasn't. So
we were.
here's the problem. Here's one of the problems when you're married 28 years. Y'all can't remember the same story.
I remember it like it's yesterday.
I do too.
Honey, we were laying in the bed. We were talking.
Were not. We
and
were
then,
sitting on the bed.
No,
talking.
we weren't. We were laying in the bed. And I turned over and I'm like, oh my God.
You're confusing that with the Atlanta story.
That is the Atlanta story.
This ain't the Atlanta story.
Yes,
this is your dorm room story.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. See, my thing, okay.
Okay, can I finish the actual real story that I'm talking about?
I know. So let me just preface this that when I was growing up, I just didn't date people to date them. I had to date with a purpose. Now I get it, in the beginning, you doing your thing. But once I get past all that, either I'm doing my thing or we're doing something with purpose. And so that's what I needed to know, because I could kick it if I want to. And I needed to know, are we serious or are we not? Because I didn't want to spend time, because I did that with my ex-boyfriend and wasted all my college years with one stupid dum-dum when I could have been, I could have been out doing whatever I wanted to do. Now, granted, it got me where I'm at right now, because if that wouldn't have happened, and I'm grateful for that, but I didn't want to do that with him. So that was my thing. What are we doing? So I know how to proceed, because it was my last year of college and I wanted to have me a grandiose time if need be. But he went on to say, okay, let's do this. And so that's what we did.
I don't really know what just happened, but okay.
I just told the story.
Okay. All right, fine. That's good. All right. So can I tell my story now?
Don't touch me.
Okay. So my story is
should be my story.
She came in and
I we
were there and she was like, what are we doing? So she leaves the room because here's the deal. I'm prepared to say,
I remember.
I told you, because I told her, hey, I'm not looking for a serious relationship. If you want to get together, hang out, have a good time, cool. But if not, I understand that. That's what I told everybody. And so I was going to double down on that. But when I went to think about that, my heart was like, no, we're not leaving. So you can go, but we're not leaving. And I'm like, oh, snap. I can't leave. So I had to ask her, because the idea of me leaving and she go be with somebody else, like I in that moment I realized I couldn't live with that. So, hey, when she came back, will you be my girlfriend? And so that was the recipe, for taking the guy to the next level. So sometimes, ladies, you do have to be willing to lose him to keep him. I will say that because it worked with me. So fast forward. Now, remember when we were going to, so I told you, because now some may call it like a backslidden state, right? Because I wasn't like doing my church thing and all that. So then I started getting on it. We were going, whatnot. And I said, listen, dear, at some point I'm going to come to you and say that we got to stop having sex. I'm just going to, I know it's coming because I'm going to get convicted in the whole 9 yards, right?
I remember.
And so the day came and I told you. Do you remember what you did?
I ran.
No, you didn't just run. We were at church.
I know, I left.
You know what day it was?
It was stormy, wasn't it?
No.
What day was it?
It was my birthday.
Was it?
She left me at church, got mad, just sermon convicted me, fire and brimstone, and I can't do it. I tell her, I said, listen, we can't have sex no more,
I remember.
And she got mad and left me at church
raining,
on
too.
my birthday. I don't remember it raining, but I do remember getting left
on
my birthday. Okay, here I am. I'm trying to be a man of God. I'm trying to be a man of. Oh. When I tell you, she was like, "Come." My homeboy Mac, what's up, Mac? Mac had to drive me home. This is a recipe for.
I wasn't ready to stop.
How to make it. To make it 28 years almost. We giving you the recipe. Now you can follow this if you want to. You probably gonna be jacked up, but so don't follow us as no how to. You know what I'm
Really
saying?
don't, because we are not perfect people at all.
But we gonna give it to you. You do whatever
it
you
worked
want.
for us, but you know.
You do whatever you want to do with it. So, but eventually you came around and you
Yeah.
told me, okay, yeah, cool, I'm cool with that. I mean, you can tell the story if you want to.
No, it's fine.
Okay,
you
yeah,
tell
yeah,
me.
yeah. No, I'm just gonna say finally we was on the same page with it, and then I mean, I proposed to you, and that was the whole thing. It was nice, but we don't have to get into that. But here's what I would say before we got married, which is what I was starting to say before. Wasn't prepared for marriage. I thought I was because we was getting counseling, but so here's why I wasn't prepared. So I grew up in a household. Dad was an alcoholic, weekend alcoholic, worked through the week, but mom, loved me and all that kind of stuff, but parents slept in separate bedrooms. Like from the time I was like, I don't never remember them sleeping in the same bedroom. Like it was a highly dysfunctional environment. And they would argue and all this kind of stuff. A lot of trauma. And so I grow up with all these fears. I grow up with all these fears of, first of all, I'm an empath. I don't know if y'all know what that is, but it means I feel very deeply. So I grow up with a fear of losing family. And so you also got to include the alcohol part, right? I'm seeing alcohol is something that destroys families. It disrupts your peace. And so when we get together and she would like to drink wine and all that, and I'm like, oh no, no, we're not doing that. And so on the surface, it was like, okay, we're not doing it for spiritual reasons. God wants us to da-da-da-da-da. But when I really unpacked it and understood, it was just my fear of if she drinks, she gets out of control, something pop off, and now boom, family's destroyed. So it made me, I'm saying all that to say, it made me controlling in that regards. You can't, but it wasn't like, because it's just not my personality. But it still came off controlling. And my wife, let me tell you something. She is not the definition of someone who wants to be controlled, or she don't work well with none of that. So that in and of itself caused this. But you give your version of how that made you feel. Me telling you, no, you can't. Because you was cool with it at first. But I think after a while, you started to feel like restricted.
Yeah, I don't like being felt restricted. And he wasn't like overtly like that, but, and I was trying to be the good girl. He's the man of the house, so I wanted to listen. And so I did. And I didn't have a problem with it, but then after a while, yeah, I did. It caused some issues, But when we got married, like when we were preparing to get married, like he didn't want secular music at our wedding. I'm like, excuse me? Secular music. I think we butt heads for a hot second on that, but I think you gave in on that respect. But
we had secular music at our wedding?
I think we did.
I thought we didn't. Still.
No, I think we did.
Okay,
It was like
all
the
right.
easy. It wasn't like, Ice Cube and Tupac, nothing like that. It was like Anita Baker, Luther Vandross,
Okay, all right.
that type of secular music. But at first it was okay. It didn't really bother me, but it did as we proceeded in our marriage. And not that it meant that our marriage was awful. I mean, the first 5, 6, 7, 8 years, it felt like it was 5 or 6, 7, 8 days because I was married to my best friend and we had a great time. But then, I know that I personally went through a little bit of a struggle, and that's for another podcast moment.
No, we
But
we ain't gonna give it all to you. Like we gonna break this whole thing.
Yeah.
down so y'all get the real.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it ain't all flowers and
But
roses.
tell them, okay, how you were prepared. Like our upbringing was pretty similar. Father,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
father,
You
yeah.
know, I'm saying in that dynamics and some of the things. I mean, you can share as much as you want to.
Oh,
But what you saw, what you experienced, that made you say, "Oh, nobody's ever gonna," all of that.
well, my upbringing was fine. My dad was considerably older than my mom, and there were some times when I was growing up that my dad, and I love my dad like nothing else. He passed away many years ago, but he was very, very controlling with my mom, and I would see him make her beg and make her cry, and you know, I just my mom would say never let a man control you. Don't let a man, you always have a secret bank account somewhere in case you got to go. Because there was a time that my mom was trying to go. Now she'll probably deny that because she's older and she don't remember, but I do. And it's okay because they ended up being fine. However, when I was younger, seeing that, getting older, I refuse to let a man tell me what to do or control me. And so, like when you get married or you start dating someone and some of the things that your partner does, you kind of, oh, that's so cute. It's all right. But eventually that's going to come to a head and it's going to come out and you're going to have to deal with those issues. And eventually it did. It came out and we had to deal with those issues. So again, that's for another podcast. Leave you on the edge of your chair. But yeah, that's what I grew up in. I have 4 brothers and a sister. They're all my half brothers. We have the same father, but not the same mom. And that dynamic. They're a lot older than me. Like my youngest brother, that's closest to me. He's 9 years older than me. And my father had the attitude, you're 18, you get out. My father was a type of man, he loved me, but he basically said, to my mom, this is, your daughter, you raise her. So he wasn't really present, but he was present. So for example, I was very involved in sports and I was a swimmer, and I'll never forget, my mom went to all my practices. She went to all my games. She dropped me off. She picked me up. My dad never did any of that. And I remember when he went to my swim meet, he came to one, and it was just, I remember that. Out of all the swim meets, I remember the one that my dad went to because he didn't do that. And so he wasn't present in my life. And so some of the things I saw when I was younger, being married, having children, I said, I have to make sure that I don't do this with my children and I don't do this in my marriage. So whatever that looked like. So I didn't have, getting married, I didn't give it a lot of thought. I was like, if this is what I'm supposed to do, this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm like, I just go with the flow. I'm a go with the flow chick. I mean, I do think and analyze things, but not like he does. He's a little deep, but I'm just, let's go. Let's do it. This seems
So do you feel
fun.
like you were prepared? Do you think you were really prepared?
I mean, you're never prepared for anything. I mean, who's prepared, really?
Yeah. Well, I put this. I think you can be
prepared.
better. I think we could have been better prepared. I think I could have been. And let me say this: my parents gave me all they had to give me, so I'm not on the blame game, because they were raised however they were raised to give what they gave. I get that. Therapy and all that kind of stuff. I mean, my parents were much older. And so that wasn't a thing. And so, but at the same time, it would have been cool if someone would have been able to identify, hey, dude, you got a fear of abandonment. You have a fear of rejection. You have all these things. You're going to have to get that together before you think you're ready for marriage. and you couldn't have told me. I mean, I'm the relationship dude. I mean, even in college, I'm listening to stuff and, focus on the family and tapes and all this kind of stuff. Like, relationships is my thing. And I still had blind spots that I just did not see. So I'll say this. I don't care what stage you at or age and you watching this. If you're in a relationship already, if you're not, but if you are and hey, listen, we missed some steps. Go get some help. And if you ain't in a relationship, you got an amazing opportunity because you can go get some help before you get into one. I know in the Black community, therapy and coaching and counseling and all this kind of stuff it's newer. So it's not like encouraged or hasn't been encouraged in the past, but by all means, because that's what I would tell my younger self at 20 when we got married at 23. I was 23.
I was 22.
Met at 22. Yeah, that's what I would tell myself. So, but you still can have a great marriage. So what we're trying to do, because you didn't want to, I got to say this. People always say to me as a relationship coach, we want to hear from your wife. We want to hear from your wife. And I will come to you and I say, dear, do you want to do a video or something with me? And you would say what?
No.
Okay. So what changed? Why are you sitting here right now? Why did you decide you want to do this?
I don't know.
All right.
I mean, there's no epiphany reason.
No. Well, there's got to be some reason because let me say it this way. I feel like this is what I was feeling. Hey, we've been married almost 28 years. I feel when I see the different relationships and challenges that they go through, I feel like I want to give back something. I want to help somebody else not have to go through whatever we had to go through to learn. I just feel like, say being the old head, so to speak, is kind of an obligation. This is what I'm feeling. And so when I brought it to her, I just felt like the timing was right. And normally when I would say stuff, it's an immediate like, no, I don't want to do that. But this time it was like, And I was like, and I went and bought all this equipment.
That's funny.
I went and bought all this equipment for a podcast. And so she said, no, I guess, man, I would have been hosed. But yeah, so it's here. I really believe it's a God thing and not at all to be super deep because we're really not. But I just feel like it's the right time. And whoever it's for, is for. And but I'm going to say this. You gonna get the very raw, unpolished. This ain't the podcast where we say today we want to give you 3 steps on how to have an amazing, happy relationship. This ain't that. This is not that. So if you got that, I'm sure there's a whole lot of that out there that you can go find. This is just raw and uncut and unpolished, and it is. And this is us. This is us. It's our favorite stuff. So yeah. So as we wrap up. Because we're not going to be before you long. And let me say this real quick. When you're looking at your childhood and all of that kind of stuff, there's no way, say if you look at it in context of planting something, you can't plant beans and get cabbage. So if you had all kind of, abandonment and trauma and all kind of stuff in your childhood, that's going to grow into something. That is going to grow into fear. That's going to grow into anger problems. It's going to grow into anxiety issues. And if you're going to change that, you're going to have to plant something different. Because scripture says, train a child in the way they should go. When they're old, they won't depart. That training you got, whether it was good or bad, that is what has you on your path. All right. And I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to prepare your heart and mind. Changing ain't easy. Think it's easy, dear? No. And if you got kids, that's a whole nother podcast. That's a whole nother series of podcasts.
Right.
Because kids will bring you to your knees.
And our kids have done that.
Oh my God. And we thank God for it because it helped us to be closer and and to him, to each other, and grow. But Yeah, so just plant something different if you want to get something different. So as we close, I'm gonna take a sip of my 2023 Kool-Aid,
And I'll take a sip of my mimosa,
and we are gonna.
and we're going to sign off because I am about to make my lunch. I love to cook, so I might be sharing some recipes with you. And on the flip side of wine and mimosas, I am a coffee snob. I love coffee. I love beans, fresh beans. So anywho, that'll be some things that, again, are a few of my favorite things. And yeah, I love to talk about it, and I love to share about it, especially if people love to hear about it. I will talk your ear off. So again, I don't like talking a lot, but when you perk my ears up about things that I have an interest in, I will talk a lot. So, salute.
All right. Salute. Peace.